Hi, welcome back, guys, to our new class. This is our fourth lecture. Hope everybody's doing great and everything is just fantastic. So, welcome to the online class, and it's our fourth lecture, right? So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the class. So, in this lecture, I will be creating some of the programs. I'll be writing code for some simple programs in C++. It is just for you to understand how to use these operators, these variables that we have discussed, these data types in the previous lectures. So once we're done with these programs that I'm going to write in this lecture, then it will definitely clarify your doubts. You will get to know about it practically. So let's just get started. We're going to write these 5 programs. So first of all, our first program is calculate the area of a circle. We have to write a program in which I'll be calculating the area of a circle, right? So first of all, I will be opening up my div C++, my compiler. I'm using this one. You can also install it free from Google. Yeah, just search it on Google. You will easily get it. So I'm just going to open it up and start coding. So it's going to take a while. Yeah. So let me open it up. It's right up here on my screen, and we're going to start our first program. So first of all, you should understand that the formula for finding a circle is what, it's kind of mathematically related to mathematics. But anyway, the formula for circle area is area equals to pi, right? Pi symbol, right? So I cannot put a symbol, so I would just type pi. Radius, right? Then the radius of the circle, and then you have to make it a square, right? So like this. This is the formula for finding a circle. So I'll just write it down in a comment so that compiler can ignore it. Well, if you don't understand some of the points in this lecture, it's because you might have missed the previous lectures. So after watching this lecture, I would suggest you to watch those previous lectures, so then you'll have no problem in this lecture and also in upcoming lectures. So this is the formula for finding the area of a circle, right? Right. If you guys can hear my voice, that would be amazing. I guess that everything is fine from my side, but I got a message. I was notified by somebody that your voice is not reachable. But I guess everything's fine here, and other participants are probably listening to my voice. So maybe there's some internet problem. Everything from my side is perfectly fine. Okay. Oh, you should rejoin the meeting or do something like that so that you can easily listen to me, listen to our lecture. So this is the formula for a circle, right? So first of all, I will have to declare a variable in which I will be storing pi value, right? So the pi value is 3.14. So I'll be using float, right? Float variable, float data type, and the variable name is suppose pi equals to 3.14. And then I will have to declare another variable uh, for radius. So I would go with name is r, which refers to radius variable, right? And then I need another variable in which I will have to store the result, right? The final answer, the area of a circle. So I will be storing the area of a circle, or you can say the final result in this result variable, right? So after that, I've declared these variables. I want to show on the screen to the user that enter radius of circle, right? So because this the radius varies because it depends on you of what circle areas do you want to find. So this radius variable varies, and the pi is having a constant value, which is 3.14, right? So first of all, I want to show on the screen enter radius of the circle. Then I will be using cin for getting any value from the user. So here I want to store the value in our variable, which is supposed to be radius. And then after that, I'm going to get the final result. I'm going to store the final result in result variable. So now here, once we have radius, right, we would multiply pi, which has 3.14 value, and then I will multiply it with radius square, right? So it's going to be something like this, right? This means r square, and then after finding the r square, the radius square, I would have to multiply it with pi constant, which is 3.14, right? So after that, I will have to show it on screen. So the result should be like the area of the circle. The area of the circle is, and then I would use result. So this is going to be the script for the first program. Yeah, you can also remove this result variable and then just simply type this formula right down here. So it will also work. But just for making it kind of easier, I used result variable. So let's just compile it by using F9 and run it by pressing F10. So now it's compiling and it's almost done. Now we'll have to run the code by pressing F10. As you guys can see the result, it's asking me for the radius of circle. Suppose I have the radius of circle is 5, and you can see the area on the screen. The area of the circle is 78.5, right? So that's how you can find the area. And if I also go with the decimal values, suppose 2.4, I would also get the result. I'll still get the result, right? Because I've used float data types, so it can store decimal values, right? So this is the first program. It's quite simple. If you guys have any question in the first program, yeah, go to the chat option. Please go to the chat option and ask your question. And if you guys don't have any questions, so let's move to our second program. So let me just save it with the name area of circle. So this is our first program. I will also share these programs in our WhatsApp group so you guys can read it later on. So this is our first program, right? Let me just close it, and it's just saved here. I will share all of these programs that I'm going to write, okay? So the second one is here. So what's the second program? Write a program to get name, address, age, and city from a user as input and print them on screen. So you just have to simply write a program in which a user has to enter his name, address, age, and city name as an input, and then you will just have to print them on screen. You'll have to display them on screen, whatever the user has entered. So let's go for the second program, right? So I will just open up this again. Sorry. And as you guys can see that I have to declare many variables. As you can see, I have to declare the variable for name, address, age, and city, right? So I will be using string data type, because a name can have capital letters, even suppose an address can have numerals as well. So I'll go the first variable, which is string name, and then I have another variable which is address, right? And for the third one, I have city variable, city. So for city name, I will also declare another variable string, and then for age you can go with integer. Yeah, no problem, integer age. So now we have declared all the variables, and then I'll be showing to the user enter name, right? And then cin, and then I will store its value in name variable. I will show on the screen to the user enter address, right? And through cin, I'll get the address, right? And I will store its value in address variable. And after that, I will show to the user that please enter your city name, and then I will use cin, and then I'll enter city variable here. And then for the last one, I will use another cout, enter your age. Yep, enter your age, and then use cin to store it, or to get the value from the user and store it in age variable. Yeah. So now we have got all the values from the user, and now I have to print them or display them on screen by using cout. So your name is name variable, and go with another cout. Your address is the address variable, and this third one is we have city, so your city name is city variable, and the fourth one is age, so your age is age variable, right? So let's compile this program, right, and run it. So I'm going to press F9 for compiling this program, and then I will now I'll press F10 to run this program. So as you guys can see on the screen, I have to enter my name, right? The first one name, suppose name is John, and address, suppose you can just type any address. So I would just go with the Lahore or whatever you want to type here in your address. So yeah, and now enter your city name. So suppose Karachi, and enter your age 20. As you guys can see on the screen, I've got my result, but all these lines are not being break. I mean that it was supposed to be such that your name was shown in another line, and then address in the next line, and so on. So for this purpose, I'll be using /n, right? So /n actually breaks the line, okay? /n, /n, okay? That's not /n, it is /n. So now let's see. Let's compile it again and run it. Enter your name, John, address, Lahore, whatever, city name, Karachi, and age 20. Now you can see the result on the screen of this program. Your name is John, your address is Lahore, Pakistan, your city name is Karachi, your age is 20. So how this program actually works, let's explain it real quick. First of all, I've declared 3 variables with data types string, right? Because string is a data type in which you can store all types of characters that can be including symbols, alphabets, numerics, whatever you want to store in a string variable. So it's a set of all these characters, right? So I've declared these 3 variables within name, address, and city. And for the age, because that is going to be only in integer, so for that purpose, I declare another variable, having data type integer. And after that, I have displayed a message to the user that enter name, and then to see in I got the value from the user and stored it in name variable. And I did the same with the address here and with the city as well, and also with the last one, which is age. So these lines are almost same, right? Just a little bit change in the variable names. The variable names are different, and these messages are also different. Yeah. So once I've got the value from the user, when the compiler reaches this line, right? This line, when the compiler reaches this line, you know, that means all the values, all the variables have got their values from the user through scene, right? So after that, it's just simple. You just have to display them on screen by using cout, your name is, and then I will have to use that variable, right? And remember that we don't enclose variable names in double quotes or single quotes, right? So you just have to simply write it here. And in the second line, I write it down address, the city, and also the age. So it's a kind of simple program. I explained it briefly. I hope that this is clear. If you guys have still any question regarding this program, go to the chat option and ask your question. Thank you. So let me just save it as well with the name info display or whatever, info display. All right, so let's go for the third program. This is still running. Let me close it. The third program is that write a program to get two numbers from the user as input and perform sum, which mean addition, product, which mean multiplication, division, and different, which means subtraction, and remainder, and print result on screen. So we have to perform all of these. First of all, we have to get two values from the user, and then we will be performing all of these operations on those two values. And at the end, we have to display the final result, right? The result of addition for those two given values, product, division, difference, and remainder all together. So let's go for the third program, right? You can call it a simple calculator. So let me erase this previous program, and we have different operations, right? So we have to store the result in these values, right? So suppose, well, there is even no need to declare any variable. You can simply do that, right? But we have to get the value from the user. That's why we'll be using variables, right? So for the first one, I have to declare a variable num1, which means which refers to the first number, and num2 as well. And after that, I'll be declaring variables to store the final result in. For the sum, I will go with the sum variable, and I'll declare another one which is product, prod, and then division, right? I would just go with divi. And then for the fourth one, which is difference, so I would go with diff. And then remainder, I would go with rem. So these are all 5 operations that needs to be done on these two values that I'll be getting from the user. So now I'll be, first of all, I have to show to the user to enter first value, then through cin, I will store its value in num1 variable, and then I will do the same with the second value, enter second value, right? And then through cin, I will store it in num2 variable. Once we got the value, now we can simply do the remaining process. So if you don't declare these variables, you will have to type those formulas right in the cout. Let me show you cout. The addition or the sum is num1 plus num2. You can do this, you can just do this simple method, and in the second line just replace this sign with multiplication, division, and so on. But I want to make it more easier. I will just store the final result in these variables, and then at the end of the program I will just use these variables and display the result to the user. So the sum variable is num1 plus num2, and the prod variable equals to num1 multiplied by num2, and division variable equals to num1 divided by num2, num1 divided by num2. And then for the fourth one, which is diff, equals to, for the subtraction, num1 subtract num2, and then for the remainder, rem equals to num1. I'll be using a modulus operator, right? Modulus operator num2, and now we have got all the results. We have got all the final values. Now we'll just have to print it on screen. All right, so I will just show the result to the user. The sum is, I know it's taking too long because you guys are mostly beginners, so that's why I'm just explaining it briefly, right? For the second one, product, the product is I would go with the another variable, the second one, and I would do the same with all these values. The division is db variable, and then for the fourth one, the difference is diff variable, and the last one is the remainder is the remainder is a rem variable. Now it's done. Let me save it, compile it, and run it. Now it's compiling. It's finally done. So as you guys can see the result on the screen, enter the first value. So I would go suppose with 5, and the second value is 4. So I got the result, but I didn't use a backslash n to break the line. So let's just do it now. Right. So now let's see how it works. Let me compile it again, and then I'll run it. So it's almost done. Yeah, it's done. So I have to enter the first value, suppose 10, and then 2. So you can see the result on the screen. The sum is 12, the product is 20, the division is 5, the difference is 8, and the remainder is 0. So this is the result. You guys can see it yourself. So how this program works, it's pretty simple. I've declared some variables, and then I got the first value from the user, and then the second one. And after getting the values from the user, I just store, the sum of these two values in the sum variable, the product of these two values in product variable, and so on. After that, I just display these messages and use these variables, so it can work like to display something or to display the product to the user by accessing these variables. So this is how it works. This was our third program. If you guys have any question in this program, You're free to ask any question. Go to the chat option and ask your question, and I will answer your questions. So it is simple calculator. You can call it calculator. So let me save it, and it's done. Now we're going for the fourth program, right? So what's the fourth program? It says that use E and the L and set WManipulator in any program. So we'll go for this at the end, because it's not any of the program. It's kind of theoretical, so I will understand it at the. I will teach it at the end of the session. So we're going for the fifth one, which is write a program to find the average total marks and percentage of 3 subjects. Suppose each subject max marks equals to 100. The max marks for each subject is 100, and you have to find the average total marks and percentage of these 3 subjects. So all right, so let's get started. Now let me erase the previous program. Right now, for the first one, we have to find first of all, we have to declare 3 variables for 3 subjects, because we have 3 subjects. So I'll go with sub1, sub2, and then sub3, right? So let's get these values from the user first. Enter subject 1 marks, right? So it has to be less than 100 marks, because the max marks are 100. It should be equal to 100 or less than 100, because the max marks we have only 100 for each subject. So I'll store its value in the first variable, which is sub1. Then I will display to the user. Enter subject 2 marks, right? And then I'll go with cn subject 2 marks here. And then we have the third one, which is enter subject 3 marks, right? And I will use cin again for subject 3. Now we have got the values from the user for these 3 subjects. We have got the marks of these 3 subjects. Now we have to find the total marks. So for the total marks, I will declare another variable, which is total. And we also have to find the average. For this purpose, I'll go with float, because we can get the decimal values, right? So float, and also percentage, a percent variable. So now I have to find the total marks, which is total equals to sub1 plus sub2 and plus sub3. So now we have got the total marks in total variable, and now for the average, I'll go with sub1 plus sub2 plus sub3, and then divided by 3, because this is the formula for average, right? And then for percentage, let me write a formula for percentage as well, finding the percentage of these 3 subjects marks. So percent equals to total marks, right? I mean the gain marks divided by 300, right? And then multiply it by 100. So this is the formula for percentage. Now we have to display it on screen. And your total marks. Let's display this message. Your total marks are, or your total marks, go with total variable, and then see out your average is, or we go with this colon symbol, and then average variable in which I have stored average, and then see out your percentage, percentage, and then this is going to be a person variable here, and I will break this line here and also this one here. So let's compile it and run it. Now we've got error here in this line. I didn't use the assignment operator. Let me save it again and let's run it and see what happens. Now it's compiling, right? And now I've run the program. Now you can see the result on the screen. Enter subject 1 marks, suppose 50, and the second one, suppose I got 67, and for the third one I got 91, right? So now you can see the result on screen. Your total marks 208. Once you add them, you get your total marks, and then your average is 69 and your percentage is 0. So there's a problem in percentage formula. We'll do it the other way around. A total multiplied by 100 and divided by 300. Let's do it. Let's see. Was 50, 34, 34. I got problem with percentage again. Total marks, you can see 10 marks multiplied by 100 and then divided by, yeah, I have to go with division, divide symbol. Let's run it. Enter subject 1 marks, 50, 45, 34. Now you can see the result on your screen. Your total marks are 129, your average is 43, and your percentage is also 43. So suppose I've got 100 marks in every subject, what we get as a result. So now you can see that total marks are 300. We've got our average is 100 and percentage, which is 100%. So this was our fourth program. Yeah, our fifth program. If you guys have any question in this program, so you can ask it. Let me explain it again. Let me repeat it. I got 3 subjects and I have to find its total marks, average, and percentage. Okay, so I saved these values. I declared some variables for them. Subject 1, subject 2, subject 3 are variables for each subject marks. And then I got another variable, total variable, in which I'll be storing the sum of all these 3 subjects. And then I got average and percentage variable. In average variable, I will store the average, and in percents variable, I will be storing percentage of these 3 subjects. So then first of all, I displayed to the user enter subject 1 marks, and then I got the value from the user and stored it in sub 1. And I did the same, I did this similar thing with the second one and same with the third one. Then once I've got the values in subject 1 and subject 2 and subject 3 variable, I added them up in and store its values, final value, in total variable. Then for average right, this is the formula, right? So for average variable, I store the addition, the sum of these 3 subjects, and then divided by 3, which is the number of subjects, right? I got my average. And for percentage, I multiply the gain marks, you can say the total marks, by 100, and then divided it by 300, which is we have the total marks of all these 3 subjects. Once we add them up, we get 300, because for each subject we considered 100 marks as max for each subject. And after that, I got the final result in total, average variable, and percentage. Now it's time to display it on screen. So first of all, I display to the user your total marks, and then I access that total variable, in which we'll have we'll have gotten the total marks, and the same for the average and also for the percentage. So this was our fourth program. Let me run it again. Enter marks, subject 1 marks 87, 50, and then 34. Your total marks are 171, your average is 57, and your percentage is 57 as well. So let me save it. Let me save it as well, which is you can say marks average average, and then the last one is we have percentage. So I just saved this program, and now we're going to work with our fourth program, which was left behind. So let me open it up. Let me erase this previous program because I've already saved it in another file. So the fourth one was use ENDL and set WManipulator. So let's go with this one. What does ENDL really do? So let me use it. So first type cout. The ENDL breaks and then ENDL and then cout the line. So let's see the result. Let's use ENDL manipulator. So now it's compiling, it's done. Let me run it. You can see that ENDL is also used for breaking the line. The ENDL breaks the line. Now if I remove this one, right, you can see the difference. If I remove this END line, this second line, the line will also go up here. Let me show you. If I remove this one, if I remove this line, if I remove this manipulator and recompile it, let's see the result, what really happens. So now you can see the result that the second line, which is the line, is also being shifted to the first line. So now there's no line break. It is just in the same line because I didn't use ENDL manipulator. So we use END manipulator to break line. Now you can see the difference, right? Now you can see the difference. It's used for breaking the line. I hope this is clear. Now we're going for the second one, which is set W manipulator. Set W, suppose 5. And if I want to use set W manipulator, it's being defined in WManip library. Yeah. So let's see what set W manipulators do. It gets one argument, which has to be an integer, and let's see the difference. Let's see what it really does. So it's basically used for making tables, you can say. You don't see that because it can't be seen right there. So I have to shift it down below, set W, and suppose 5. Then this one, let's see. Now it's compiling, and let's run it. The ENDL breaks the line. So we still didn't get the result. Let me try it again. Right. Set W 5 and set W. Is used to make tables. Suppose we have it, and now let me run it. Let me compile it and run the program again. Why it's not working? It was supposed to work. um, I don't know why it's just stuck here. It's the only purpose of the WManipulator. You have to enter an integer, suppose 5. SubW is used to make tables. I don't know why it's not working. Maybe I'm just using it the wrong way, but the only purpose for the WManipulator is to make gap, make gap between two strings, you can say, yeah, two messages. So I don't know why it's not working, but I don't want to prolong the lecture. Let me see if I've used it in previous programs. So I will just show you the result, how it really works. So I'm just going to find it where it is. So let's go to the examples, and let's go to the WManipulator and see if it works. I've made these examples for you guys. So now let's see it. I am manip. Let me compile this previous program and run it. Yeah, you can see that it's being used for making this entire table, right? It's used for making these tables. So how it really works, you can see the difference. It actually defines a limit for the second string from where it's going to start. So it just kind of defines a limit for the second values, for the second strings, right? For the beginning of second strings, it defines some limits. Like there are some spaces, you can see that it's in the shape of a table. So we use a WManipulator. This argument actually indicates the number of free spaces, or you can say white spaces, to be left before the second value or before the second string. So you can check this program. I got some values from the user, and then for number, I have just shown this number to the user, and then I used set WManipulator to make 10 white spaces, you can say, to make this gap here. And then I've write down the square. I've written down the square, and then I broke the line here, and then I shown the first value, value 1, and value 2, value 3, by using set WManipulators here to actually organize this table. So this is what we use. This is why we use a WManipulator to create a table format, you can say. Yeah. And remember that this set WManipulator is being defined in WManip library. So if you remove this line, this WManipulator won't work and you will receive an error. So this is all about the WManipulator. I will just copy this one in your lectures, which is English class 4. Right, let me paste it here, and it's done, guys. So this was a lecture. I briefly explained each and every program. If you guys enjoyed the lecture, and if you've got any questions, you can write, you can ask me in the comment section. Yeah, if you're watching it on YouTube, and you will get the answer from me. And this was all for now. I will also be sharing all these programs in our WhatsApp group. Thank you for taking your time to watching this lecture, and I will see you guys next time.